Welcome to Sonic Legacy, where we dive into the timeless tales and transformative tunes that have shaped generations.
And then we're back. Sonic Legacy. We're here still talking about our 10 island albums, as we're calling these episodes. And, I'm sure everybody has had this conversation, and we're just doing it on camera and arguing and discussing.
Fools of ourselves.
And questioning each other's decisions. Like, what? Anyway, so we're back. This is episode number 3. And we're just going to pick up where we left off. So, Gary, when we left you, you were giving us the praise of Hysteria by Def Leppard, which I did not see coming. Yeah. So, where are you going now?
Well, the last thing you mentioned was Bon Jovi.
I did.
And Crush. I mentioned that I would share my Bon Jovi album that made my list because, of course, Bon Jovi is going to make my list. And I had a hard time, too, but like we discussed when we talked about the whole singing things in your head, I did not pick Crush.
Yeah.
But I did go between 2 albums. I thought about Slippery When Wet. I'm like, honestly, that's got about 4 really good songs on it. And that's about, like, there's maybe more.
But it's got a lot of listenable songs, but
there's some songs that I'm just like, eh. So yeah. I didn't want to pick that one. New Jersey, I love that album.
Great album.
It's a very adult record. We're very mature for him, right?
And I'm pretty sure I could sing that in my head with no problem. But there was one that, they started as songwriters and, like you're saying, as becoming adult performers. They started writing even more meaningful things that meant a lot to me. And I struggled, but I came up with These Days is the album I picked. A lot of great songs on it. And there's a couple songs that I'm sure people have never heard that I just think are like Hearts Breaking Even is one of my favorite songs. It's great. That's a great song that's on there.
Dude, the song These Days alone is so good.
Yeah. So that's my pick. It was hard, but that was, for me, that's just the one that, like, I know the songs. I could probably sing them in my head, but there's a couple of them that I want to hear for sure.
I didn't even have this on my radar, and I'm kind of regretting it now. I need to because I thought you were going to go Keep the Faith, which would have shocked me because, like, it's a decent album. I don't know if it's
a great album, but it's, to me, this shows a whole even more mature side.
Alan, are you familiar with it?
I am not. I probably jumped off. Wait a minute. Is it after Keep the Faith?
Yes.
Do you have the track listing by any chance, Gary?
I do. Hey God,
great song.
Something for the Pain.
Good song.
This Ain't a Love Song.
Oh, I love that song.
These Days.
Great song.
Yeah,
Lie to Me.
A great song.
Yeah.
Damned. That's probably the weakest track on it. My Guitar Lies Bleeding in My Arms.
A nice song.
It's Hard Letting You Go.
I'm not super familiar with that one, so.
Hearts Breaking Even.
Good song.
Man,
good. Solid.
Something to Believe in.
Yeah.
If That's What It Takes. And then a song that we performed at my wedding reception, Diamond Ring. Remember that tune?
I listen, it's that is such a good song.
Yeah.
It's sappy in its own way because John can write a love song.
Yeah,
he can. He's got an amazing skill set, and I think maybe if you're watching this, if you're our age, you understand that the Bon Jovi was such a huge influence and impact on our lives. This guy was he was a full blown rock star from the get go. And his albums were all so good up until a certain point. Then he kind of petered out. But God, he writes like Diamond Ring is so good. I don't know. I got a lot to say about John Bon Jovi in the band. So I like this. I love this pick, Gary. This is better than taking a kicker. I'll tell you that much.
Or defense.
All right. It's a solid pick, man.
Well, that means we go to you, unless Alan. I know you said you weren't that familiar with it, so
yeah. No, I'm not, but I continue to be impressed by your taste. I just mean from this. No, I just mean, first of all, I think everyone would say Bon Jovi.
Backhanded comment.
No, I don't. I'm
Gary was
saying,
Gary was a huge Gary got me into Bon Jovi way more than I was because I didn't appreciate the songwriting. And Gary's like, you're missing out. And he kind of highlighted some songs back in from like 7,800 Degrees in early albums like Roulette and Love Lies and shit like that. And all of a sudden I was like, oh God, I love this guy. And then Slippery comes out and everything.
Well, I was very familiar with those first two records. What I mean by what I said was this.
I didn't take it insulting, by the way.
No. You, not your taste, your insight. In other words, when I was listening to Bon Jovi from She Don't Know Me, which was one of my, and I know he hates that song, but I love that song. And hearing Runaway and then getting Silent Night. The thing that I kept thinking about was a lot of things like when I think about Ozzy Osbourne, which is something that people don't say, is what a voice. And Gary says, well, Bon Jovi taught me how to sing. And I just think that is cool because, or he said, gave me my voice because he could really sing. And so much of that stuff gets lost in, You Give Love a Bad Name. And we're all just, we're all loving the tune and we're loving but no one's saying, man, that guy can really sing.
Yeah.
And he really could. And that's what I mean. It's like,
yeah.
There's more to it than Wanted Dead or Alive. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Revisit those early albums. You want to hear John at probably his peak, even though Slippery was his biggest album. But you want to hear John Bon Jovi as a young, full-blown, trying to make it rock star. Those first two albums, man, are so good. And I don't think he has. We've talked about a little bit. He doesn't have a lot of love, I think, for 7,800, but that's such a good album.
Yeah, there's a lot of swagger to that album, I think.
That's a great way to put it, Gary.
I don't know why he kind of disavows that album, but man, I think it's great.
Maybe because the songwriting wasn't as mature, but it wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah.
God, what was he? 22? 23?
I don't know.
Okay, wow. I like that, Gary. I gotta write that down. What was that again? Gary picked These Days. This is riveting, I know, for the people that are listening at home.
Yeah. Did everybody else write that?
I usually write it down as you're talking. I got so wrapped up in what you were saying. So it's to me, you say.
Indeed.
So listen, I would be remiss if I don't mention a band that I love. And this was hard to pick an album by this band because I love just about everything they've ever put out. I used to be heavily involved in another podcast regarding this band.
Yeah.
Rick Astley?
Spoiler, Alan.
It's not a band.
Listen,
it's not a band.
There's a band out of the Bay Area that is not Metallica or Journey, and they are known as Night Ranger. And I have a love for this band that, as Alan said before, it's probably unnatural. And picking an album for this band is hard because I love them. And as Gary's theory is, I could probably hum and sing most every song that I love by this band, Night Ranger. But at the end of the day, gentlemen, I want on that wall, I want in that in that cot that I'm laying back here in this cabana, I want to hear the screeching, screaming guitars of Brad Gillis and Jeff Watson singing "You Can Still Rock in America" from Midnight Madness. I want to hear Sister Christian sung by Kelly Keegan, not by me. And I need a touch of madness, and I need Rumors in the Air. So I need Midnight Madness on my island at the end of the day, even though they've got so many great albums. And you could argue Dawn Patrol, you could argue Big Life or Seven Wishes. I'll argue Midnight Madness is probably their best album. When You Close Your Eyes Alone. So
before going to Alan on this, I got a question for you.
Please.
So out of your 10 albums, the very first one that I mentioned was Queensryche, Operation Mindcrime.
Yes, sir.
Is that one of your 10?
It is.
Okay. Then I think it's only fair for me to go ahead and say Midnight Madness is one of my 10.
Yeah, I wasn't going to mention Mindcrime because I have nothing else to add. It's a perfect fucking album.
And that's why I want to mention this now, because I don't think there's no reason to come back to it.
Right. Yeah, there's no reason to revisit it, but you can add in. do you agree that if you're listening to the catalog of Night Ranger, if you had to get someone to listen to the band Night Ranger, they've never heard it before, I would give them Midnight Madness and say,
I
this is a perfect, everything you want to know about this band is on this album.
I revisited a couple albums trying to pick this, and I looked at Dawn Patrol, and I was like, nah, there's a couple songs in there.
I have it right here next to me, Dawn
I
Patrol.
I love the album. There's a couple songs that to me are throwaways on that album.
On Dawn?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not throwaways, but just not
You
one.
skip.
Yeah,
you can say Penny. I'm not mad at you.
That's one of them.
Oh, I know.
And then I looked at Man in Motion because how much I love Man in Motion, and I was very close to picking that.
I need Don't Start Thinking I'm Alone Again.
But ultimately, I think I came back to where you are, and that is what a well-rounded album. I mean, when you take Sister Christian, which everybody knows, yeah, I've heard it a billion times, but I agree.
I could hear it one more.
I need to hear Kelly sing it. And then you've got You Could Still Rock in America, which, man, I don't know how, but that song still freaking rocks every time I hear it. Never get tired of hearing it.
Soaring guitar solos, Testosterone, Jack Blades. Yeah. It's
a great album. It's a great album. That's what I landed on. I knew I was going to have to pick a Night Ranger because I couldn't not pick them. I just wasn't sure which one, and that is the one I landed on as well. So
you're a man of exquisite taste, Gary Kelly.
I agree.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that to you.
Thanks.
Alan, do you have any thoughts on the band called Night Ranger?
I love that record, and I have heard it.
That's enough. You can stop right there.
I love it. Unless you just want me to hush up, but
tell me. Listen.
I have said this for years, and when we talk, a song like When You Close Your Eyes, it is very magic. There's a lot going on there because it's a love song, but it's got guitar. I always loved Night Ranger. Look, that was when they broke with, and again, you could say maybe they were, I know we knew them a little bit before that, but that was really when things hit. And a lot was happening in music when Midnight Madness came out, and it was very exciting. And you had all these bands, and we were all kind of Duran Duran, and you're following all these things. And Men at Work, right? And then there's this Night Ranger, and it's guitar-oriented rock. There's two lead singers, which any band that has that is, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And the melodies were great, and I just remember wanting more. When You Close Your Eyes, to me, is just it's a perfect song.
It is. It's a masterpiece. I mean, think about this. At that time, we grew up in that time. What other band sounded like Night Ranger?
No.
There were plenty of bands that played distortion. There were plenty of Dokken wannabes. There were plenty of Quiet Riot-esque bands. There were plenty of Maiden-type bands. Night Ranger stood out on its own. There's still no one like them today.
A guy who played guitar for Ozzy Osbourne, for heaven's sake.
Good enough to replace Randy Rhoads.
Yeah, right. And still, you got Sentimental Street. You still got Sister Christian, but it still rocked. And I can say it again. I don't know where you put them in. Like you said, you're saying the '80s when it was Men at Work, Duran Duran. What else was out, right? Cyndi Lauper, Pat Benatar, and then here's this
melodic rock that has. I was doing an interview with a guy about Night Ranger at the sidebar, and we were talking about this. And so think about this: Brad Gillis is the guitar player, one of the guitar players in this band, who has such a distinct style. Everybody knows a Brad Gillis guitar solo when you hear it. Remember the song "Hearing Aid," Gary? We're Stars.
Mm-hmm.
So the big section in that song of all the guitar players playing solos, you've got everybody from the heavy metal world is playing. What's the one guitar player that you can recognize instantly? Brad Gillis from Night Ranger.
Oh, I was confused.
Damn it, Gary! Don't make me say it.
I wasn't sure who to pick.
But yeah, I mean, you got George Lynch is on that thing. You've got Vivian Campbell's playing on that thing. All these guitarists are just shredding. But Brad Gillis, as soon as he hits that whammy bar, like that's Brad. That's the guy from Night Ranger with all these heavy metal guys.
Yeah,
he stands out. So there it is. Night Ranger's Midnight Madness is on my island with me, Alan. I defer to the man with the plan.
This one may land with a thud. After Midnight Madness, I love grunge. Grunge is my thing. I love it more than anything. I really do. This is one of my favorite records, and the obvious pick is Nevermind. But I'm not going to do that. And I think Nevermind is, for me, it might be my favorite album. It really would be my Desert Island one. But there's not much more I can say about it.
That's easy picking.
It's an easy pick. I'm going to go with Nirvana Unplugged. Is something that I would just love to have on a
Well, hold on.
island.
I gotta throw a flag here.
Oh, am I not allowed to do that? Oh, but
can't-
it's a greatest hits.
Well, that ends live.
You're correct. So,
But listen. I would take it if I could. If we change the rules.
Do you know
because
what?
that is phenomenal.
But what a testament to them that they made everything sound so different that I kind of thought it as a separate album, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So let's do Nevermind.
So what you're saying is never mind to that one.
Nevermind and
Nevermind.
I'll just say Nevermind. I mean, honestly, that is to me the creme de la creme. It's something I could listen to front to back. It's not only
that was such a juggernaut, right?
There's obviously it Smells Like Teen Spirit, but I think my favorite Nirvana song of all time is like Come As You Are. That's on there. Drain You. There's
In Bloom.
In Bloom. You could listen to it front to back. There is maybe one song I
always forget about Come As You Are. Do 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 do.
Yes, yeah. It's just a great feel. It's just a great song.
Well, I'm with you on this. Again, we've talked about it before because we did a super long talk about grunge, and I won't believe it here, but I didn't hate grunge when it came out because it killed our music. I was okay with it. I mean, I hated that our bands were fading into the backdrop, but this was a really good album, and I actually really dig Nirvana because they weren't in perfect time and they sounded a little rough, but I liked it. Gary, I don't know if you have any thoughts on Nirvana, as the kids say.
I was never a huge fan, but I recognize the talent and the spearhead of a whole movement that kind of came from that album. Sure. And Come As You Are, I think might be my pick off that album. I think I like that one better than Smells Like Teen Spirit, but that's just me.
Yeah, I was telling my kids that yesterday. My son asked me. He's always like, "What's your fit?" And I just said, "Come As You Are." It's better than
it's not gonna be Teen Spirit because that's like their Sister Christian. It's overplayed. But it's still a good tune, but it's like, man, I'd rather hear In Bloom. Or if we're going to go off topic, I'd rather go into In Utero and listen to Heart Shaped Box or, something like that. All Apologies, which I think is their best work. But anyway, nice. So Nirvana has been brought up. They've been picked. They are not the Shedeur Sanders. They did not fall to the 5th round. I had to do it. I'm sorry. I couldn't let
No,
that
I'm
slide.
sorry. I broke the rules. I forgot. That's like I said. I forget. I unplugged it. It just seemed like but it's live and it's a greatest hit. You can't do that.
Now you could have that as on your alternative list. We'll allow that. I'll allow
but I mean,
alternatives because they don't count.
Listen, I brought this up at the beginning. If we can do greatest hits, someone's going to pick the Immaculate Collection by Madonna. So we can't do that.
Someone named Alan's going to pick it. That's not Gary or Andy. I can guarantee you that.
Definitely not me.
I don't know everything about Gary, but I promise you he will not be picking Madonna's.
This is true. Hey,
so Gary,
before I move to my next one, I just want to say that made me think of a band that I was considering, which is Alice in Chains.
Oh my God!
It did not make my list, but interestingly enough, I think is that if I had to pick an album from them, and it would be hard to add to this list because this particular album's only got 4 songs, but Sap from Alice in Chains I thought was phenomenal.
Really, I don't know this album. What's on it?
Only 4 songs. I don't think that you know anything from it.
Listen, I have an EP on my list.
I wouldn't pick one.
Which is
I need more music.
I have an EP that when I get to it, I will explain. Maybe I'll pick it next to explain because
I like. I just for the Alice in Chains real quick. I like Alice in Chains, but I couldn't figure an album that I like. I love everything on it.
Yeah. Sure, I get that.
Soundgarden and
STP,
which brings me to my pick.
Do tell. Tell me something that I didn't pick because I was struggling.
I picked Stone Temple Pilots, and the album that I picked was not core. I did not want to. There's a few tracks on there that I'm like,
You mean sex type thing doesn't get you up dancing when it's about?
This one takes you back
rapey.
to a time. This one takes you back to a time period, And man, I remember taking a trip to Detroit and listening to this album.
Was I with you on this?
You were, and this I'm pretty sure this album was like in just constant rotation the entire trip. Purple, great album.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome.
Do you have the track listing on that by chance?
Yes,
run that for a minute.
It opens up with Meat Plow. Interesting name for a song.
It was my nickname in high school.
Because never mind.
I mean, I said no one else said it. I said it. It never took.
You tried to get it going.
I did. It did. Like stop talking.
Vaseline.
So I was gonna say, for Vaseline alone, I would choose STP. I think that is a brilliant song. Sorry.
Yeah. Loungefly. Interstate Love Song.
Oh God.
Still Remains. Pretty Penny. What an odd tune that is. Silver Gun Superman. Big Empty. Unglued.
Damn.
Army Ants and Kitchenware and Candy Bars. And then you've got that, anyway.
Which oddly enough became my nickname in high school.
Kitchenware and Candy Bars?
It did. Andy like Andy. And it's funny because the album came out way after I was out of high school.
Forks and Marathon Bars. Anyway.
Sporks. Wow. So I got to say something here now. Listen, I've known Gary for a lot of years. Decades.
Didn't expect to see that.
I did not see STP coming. First of all, I didn't expect you to even talk about how you like Alice in Chains. That's bumped me a little bit. I'm now looking at my list a little differently. But I did not expect an STP out of all the albums that you would have picked. That surprises me, and I'm very impressed with that. Because I love some STP, and I just couldn't.
It was a hard pick, but ultimately, I think stacking the album. This is a really good full album. So,
Alan, STP thoughts?
Love it, and I think it's a great pick. And again, I would not have expected that. That's great. Gary's surprising the hell out of me.
I'm here to subvert expectations, and
Gary's probably thinking, "What is it exactly did you think that I like?"
I know. He's like, it's not just all Bon Jovi and Queensryche, dude.
Nobody knows me.
Really, STP is wonderful. Grunge.
Alan, we talked about this.
Isn't that the debate?
It is.
They sound like grunge. I just don't know that I would consider them grunge.
I think they were out during that time, and I think the people they get looped in there. I don't think they are. But
I don't know the alternative is the best thing I'd say.
Alternative, yeah. I think that's right. Yeah.
But to me, watching Scott dance, because it makes me feel like I can dance. If he's doing that, I can do that. Shit.
Man, I gotta say, go back and listen to all of their albums again, and really listen to the bass lines.
Yes. So that band is super talented.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And I think they got lost in the shuffle because of Scott and all his craziness.
Yeah.
But that band.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
There's not to plug Rick Beato because he sure as hell don't need it. But watch his interview with I think it's Dean.
Yeah.
Delano.
Yeah.
And he talks about writing some of those melodies and how he goes, it's just like an old blues riff that I literally stole it from this artist. And he plays it and I'm like, holy crap! I didn't even, but now I hear it that way.
Yeah,
but he's so dude. Oh man, and Core was so good. I loved Core when it came out.
Yeah,
Sour Girl.
Ooh, wow, Gary.
Sour Girl like a little later in their career, right?
That's
like
from early. 4, I think.
That's
from the fourth album.
Love that song.
Yeah, wowzers. So it's to me. It's to me.
That's to you.
So I mentioned a minute ago that I have an EP on my
I'm interested to hear this.
I'm willing to bet you guys will not guess it, but it's a band that I think I wish you would know. I've mentioned it to this band to both of
you. I think I could.
You might know.
Maybe.
But the EP is called Awesome. It's called Awesome EP, and it's by a band called Waltham.
Oh no.
And I got to tell you, now this is the one. There's nothing to talk about. You guys do not know this band. This is a band that I got introduced to from a friend on Facebook, Billy Carey, and I devoured what little they have out there because they're just an independent band out of Waltham, Massachusetts. But like Alan said, for one song alone, I brought this EP alone because I need this song in my life. A song called Holiday. By Waltham, and I'm not going to list the tracks because they don't mean anything. You guys won't know them. But I urge anybody, if you are you like the Marvelous Three, you like the power punk poppy stuff, you have to listen to Waltham. They are they're surprisingly phenomenal, and a band you'll probably never see live because they don't even. The only chance you're going to get to see them is if they play a show in their hometown, and I don't even think they play shows anymore.
I think you got me a copy of this once.
I might have, but
and I remember liking it, but I don't. Maybe I didn't.
It's kind of like you, Gary, with Wigwam. You're a big fan of Wigwam, and it's one of those bands you probably think like, why don't more people know this band?
Yeah.
But and maybe we'll do an episode later where we talk about bands you should know. Waltham is a band that I would argue they're so good.
Should I just go ahead and tell you the Wigwam album I put on? I'm just kidding. I did not think
I'm going to scratch Waltham off of my list because you just took it from me. So,
well, I remember hearing it and liking it. I just don't know that I listened to it enough. It's one of those ones I probably should give more listens to.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we all have to get there at our own time. That's the thing, too, is I do not like when people push music on me or TV shows or books. But if I come to it on my own, then I will praise the living hell out of that person who got me there. I tell anybody in the world that'll listen, Gary got me, is responsible for Butch Walker. I've told Butch that. It's not his fault. It's Gary's fault.
And if you all knew how long that was that was a tough one to get you to come to, but you finally did.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention him. Anyway, Alan, do you have a second for this round?
I do. Not many people know this about me, but I love
Madonna.
I love Black Sabbath.
No, I did not know that.
I did not know
I love Black Sabbath. Paranoid. That album is, dude, it's one of the first great metal records.
Really?
War Pigs, Iron Man, Fairies Wear Boots, which is just a great song. I could listen to Paranoid front to back over and over. Desert Island, love it.
Really?
I love Ozzy's voice. I love Tony Iommi's riffs. I love Black Sabbath like nobody's business.
Is that another album that doesn't have a ton of tracks though? Isn't that a
short? Yeah, it's another one that's got like 8 tracks. What is it with me with these short records? But it's just economical. Maybe they deliver. Do 8 what people can't do in 10. It is no stink. Well, there might be one, but I just love that record. War Pigs is just, to me, just one of the greatest hard rock songs. It was tough for me because I didn't know whether Paranoid or Volume 4, but or Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. I love all of them. I think they are just a top-notch rock band that I'd have to grab something to take with me.
That's fascinating.
I would not have guessed that.
I didn't either. Only because when you think of every one of us, that we have these varied interests in music.
Yeah.
And I know just how many conversations I have had with Alan. And I know Gary and I had conversations for decades. I just didn't see that. The way I didn't see Gary picking STP or talking about Alice in Chains. I was like, well, I feel like I don't know you guys.
Yeah, I know. I
feel like my list has been pretty spot on, with the exception of Waltham.
It's a lot of the things that I admire, like even with the Zeppelin and the Sabbath. I love musicianship, even when it comes from, because I think sometimes hard rock, it's kind of just like, oh, it's just it's just guys just banging really hard. And I think Bill Ward is one of my favorite drummers. The drums on those records, if you listen, Andy, I'm sure, you know this, but those are not easy parts to play. It has a very, it's a blues, some jazz. You wouldn't think that. The guitars are tuned down, but Ozzy Osbourne's voice is just one of.
Well, and didn't Sabbath invent that?
So good.
Not invent it, but they kind of mastered that drop tuning.
They did, yeah.
That sludgy, that they kind of brought that to the forefront before anybody else.
I'm sure
it was done before, but
I'm sure there's a music aficionado who would argue anything. But I think you can take their debut record, and I think that is the first notes of heavy metal. I think you can trace it right to that spot. There's some people say, "Oh no, you can." No, I'm like, no.
I think you're right. I think it's generally accepted that Sabbath really started what we consider heavy metal now.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. And I wouldn't disagree. I can't argue against it, but I wouldn't disagree.
some of the, like I said, you can take a few songs from each of the first, 4 or 5 albums, whatever, and yeah, okay, but Paranoid's pretty good front to back. I just would have to have that because, like I said, War Pigs is just, dude. I want that banging in the, under in the tiki hut.
Yeah, right. Who doesn't?
Yeah, gotta have some.
It's a cliche for a reason. Hey, with that being said, let's go ahead and wrap this episode up, and we'll see you guys on the next one, talking more about our island albums. See where we end up going. I truly am curious to see where my two friends go, because I thought you think you know somebody.
Hey, put your albums below in the comments section.
Tell us if you agree. I mean, I'm sure we'll have plenty of disagree, but tell us if you think, yeah, I see where you're going with that.
I could see some people jumping on that Black Sabbath.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I see that. All right, guys. Thanks. We'll do this again.
This has been a Touch of Madness production, brought to you by the creative minds at Tommy Twins Media.